as human beings, things get in the way. Life happens, right? We have to constantly bring ourselves back to what's important. And what's important is taking action. That is what moves the needle, right? So make a plan and take action. Hey, welcome back. It's Rob here with Brian Tracy's wonderful book, The 21 Success Secrets of Self-Made Millionaires. And this video is for Chapter 13. Chapter 13 is called Develop a Reputation for Speed and Dependability. And I like to throw also the word productivity in there, although we just kind of covered that in the last chapter. And it all ties in to this one, and so that's why I also like to throw the word productivity in there. But speed and dependability is what Brian Tracy wrote this chapter about, and so I will show you how I weave it all together here. Now, speed is key, all right? As Brian Tracy points out, time is the currency of our current culture, the 21st century, right? Time is one of the most important things of all because, as the cliche goes, it's the one resource you never get more of, right? So you have to figure out how to use your time more effectively, okay? So delegation is a big part of that. And if you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, you've got to delegate to other people in order to have success. And you've got to bring in people that you can trust to delegate to, right? But speed, in terms of the way that I like to look at this in this chapter, it's speed of implementation, all right? Speed of implementation is the key. And so, again, we're talking about a lot of things with this book that will change your life if you let them, right? And how do you let them? Well, you've got to implement them. You've got to put them into action. Learning without action, it doesn't give you anything, okay? People say knowledge is power. Sort of. It's potential power to me. Not until you turn it into action does it actually become a powerful thing, right? So, speed of implementation, okay? But again, speed in general, and what Brian Tracy points out in the chapter, and this is still true to this day, is that customers, otherwise loyal customers, they will change vendors if they can get the same thing faster, right? And more efficiently. And sometimes the price is a factor there too. But a lot of companies and a lot of people are willing to pay a premium price and a higher price for things that give them convenience, right? AKA speed, okay? And so as long as the quality's there, speed is a huge determining factor in whether you're going to get somebody's business or not, right? And if you can give it to them fast, then that's something that is insanely valuable in our culture, right? So one of the things that you need to do, and that I need to do, and that we all need to do, more often anyway, is take action swiftly. Take action and develop, as Brian Tracy says, develop a bias for action, okay? When you see something that needs to be done, do it quickly, immediately. When someone gives you a task and asks you to complete a task, or when someone orders something from you as a customer, or they need something from you, some sort of service element or something, drop everything and give it to them so fast that they're amazed, right? Because the people who can produce more and produce faster, they are the ones who then get more opportunities, right? You get more at-bats. Going back to the baseball book that we covered before, right? But in this case, what I mean is you're taking more swings because you're able to take more swings because you're completing things faster, right? Now, the secret sauce is when you can combine this with the previous chapter, right? So you can figure out what the most important things are to do and prioritize your to-do list and get your A1 set in your mind and focus on that single-mindedly, and then act fast and get it done quickly. And the more and more things that you can do that way, the more and more you get done. And you can, the sky's the limit. You just absolutely skyrocket your productivity when you combine this with the previous chapter. And so that's what I meant at the beginning, where I like to throw productivity in on the end of the name of this chapter, even though Brian Tracy doesn't. Develop a reputation for speed and dependability and productivity. I put in parentheses myself mentally whenever I think of this book, or when I pick it up and flip through it, or listen to the audio. And again, if you don't have the book, then you can get it through the link. I'm not going to mention it anymore. I mentioned it at the beginning in the first few chapters. I mentioned it in these middle chapters because I want to make sure that you're on the same page with me. And it's important, though, because, again, these little summary videos that I'm doing, these are just summaries. And a lot of this is my own take and my own view. And so that's why the comments are really important, too. So drop comments about what you think of all this. How did this chapter affect you, right? What do you think of combining this chapter with the last chapter, okay? But again, the big key here is that you've got to develop a bias for action and act fast when opportunity arises, right? And that's the action step, is to take action. See what I did there? But really the action step is to condition yourself, okay? And this is something I work on every day as well, and I need to work on it every day, because again, as human beings, things get in the way. Life happens, right? We have to constantly bring ourselves back to what's important. And what's important is taking action. That is what moves the needle, right? So make a plan and take action. Make a plan and take action, right? Those are the things. And then, of course, one of the biggest keys too is just figure out if what you're doing is working or not. And then, if you need to take different actions, take different actions. And that's really what this whole course is all about. I don't call it a course. It's a book. But I've kind of turned it into a course, I guess, with these videos, which was not my intent. I'm really just the reporter again for Brian Tracy's information here. I'm bringing it to you. But again, the big through line of all this is that, in order to become a self-made millionaire, in order to have success in anything really, which you'll remember at the beginning of the book, that's what I pointed out. And one of the neat things about this book to me is that it doesn't just work for personal finance. It works for anything. All right, anything you want to succeed at, all of these principles apply, pretty much. Maybe pay yourself first would be the only one that has to do specifically with finance and money. But almost everything else is really just kind of a guide to success in general, right? And we chase success over at the community at Your Soul Source. So if you're not a part of the community, jump over there. That's www.yoursoulsource.com/resources. You get signed up over there. I'll send you email for the newsletter. I'll send you my notes for this book so you have them, and you can share your notes with me. But again, this all is kind of my interpretation of this material, as much as it can be. A lot of this stuff is really black and white, as you know. But hopefully you know, because you're going through the book with me, right? But, again, comments are really useful because it lets everybody in the community know, what you're thinking about this. And maybe you open somebody else's eyes up to something they wouldn't have thought of. And that's really my goal here. That's what I want to bring this to you. That's why I want to do this, is so that maybe you get some insights that you hadn't thought of before, right? That's the whole point of collaborating and the whole point of sharing our knowledge. So again, if you got some value out of this, like this video, subscribe so you don't miss any of these and the future videos as well, because again, we're all about success here and chasing it and achieving it. And so again, take action, right? If there's one thing that is the through line of this whole book, it's take action, because action is what moves the needle, and action is what gets you where you want to go. All right, so that's the end of this chapter, chapter 13. I will see you next time for chapter 14. Check it out, and I'll see you there.
I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.